Along with smart dimensions in the drawing, you can also add in direct feature dimensions, and that'll allow you to actually modify the part directly within the drawing. So if I come into the dimensioning drawing and click on the top view, I can choose the import annotations option, and in this case I'm going to choose design annotations. And you can see it brings in quite a few dimensions. And you want to be a little bit careful with that, because if you come back into the view and turn these off, those dimensions will stay there and you won't be able to undo. So you'd have to delete out the view or delete out these individually. But when you add in the imported annotation dimensions, you can directly edit them. For example, I can change this to 1 1/4, and you see it'll update directly on the drawing, as well as updating on the part. So there's just one advantage of using this style of dimension, so that you'll be able to directly manipulate the drawing or directly manipulate the part from within the drawing. I'm going to go ahead and delete this view out and add another top view. And I'll go ahead and choose this bottom view, and if I say import annotations, and if I click on the hidden lines visible, there's an option for include items from hidden features. So you see all these hidden features, you can add in dimensions to several of them by choosing that option. Once again, you want to be a little careful with that, because once you uncheck it, you're left with those dimensions. I'll go ahead and delete this view out and project off that side view. So that's two ways to add in the design annotations. Aside from the option to import annotations, you can also come into the Annotations tab and use the Model Items tool to import in those design annotations. And there's quite a few annotations you can bring in. This is a tool I tend to not use too often, and the reason for this is if I do choose entire model, for example, and click OK, the tendency is for this to either get cluttered up or to not be able to pull the dimensions that I want. But if we wanted to select specific features, this is generally a useful tool for selecting out something like, for example, this linear pattern or the linear pattern at the top. And you'll notice if I accidentally click on a face, it'll start bringing in other dimensions. Along with the dimensions, I have this instance count selected, so it shows that we have 6 instances of the same feature. And I'll just move some of these out of the way, so this is a little and I'll just move some of these out of the way so this is a little bit easier to see. You can also add whole callouts. So for example, if I wanted to label this whole, it gives me a detailed whole callout. And I can do the same with the top hole as well. And you'll notice when I clicked on the second circle, it also brought in the instance count for this pattern, as well as the spacing dimension between each instance. but that's generally how you use the Model Items tool. Once you get a hang of using it, it tends to be pretty easy to add dimensions to specific features that you want. I would tend to avoid using the entire model option, as that can once again clutter the view quite a bit. And these reference dimensions we can change as well, just like the design annotations. We can update the model directly just by double clicking and modifying this dimension. But that's how you add in the design annotation dimensions to a drawing.